We're going to keep this pretty simple. Lavender and lemon. It's getting cooler now. I might have a couple more hot days. This is Arizona. I want to help you guys with something. I see there's still a lot of people who are very ignorant about the truth. The hypothesis is that the Mongolians came over 20,000 years ago across the Bering Strait. Now, that's been debunked well over 50 to 60 times. They're pushing that they seafared away around. They weren't settlers. The Mongolians didn't even exist 20,000 years ago. This is what's very disturbing. The teepee itself, it resembles a burial for one of their great conquerors or whatever the fuck. They were pranced upon. This is what disturbs me about the East Coast and the West Coast. There were no Mongolians on the East Coast or West Coast. They were known by the Vatican because they were utilized. And I learned that overseas. They were utilized as shock troops. I saw in a Franciscan letter where they had a different word for them because they were like they're hit people. They said the 13 whatever F or S season whatever, right? Were sent and defeated. So they had to start gathering up all kind of coin and purses to build a few ships to come over here and start managing the timber to build ships. And they were getting their ass handed to them, but there were some of us, because we had fell into disarray. It's part of the story. Excuse me, my Mongolian brothers and sisters, you haven't been here that long. That's why you're a 3051C. That's why the government established certain lands and y'all name and label stuff as in to partake in something that's traditionally not inherited by the actual natural people of this soil. I don't recognize not one of these states. It's nothing but a big propaganda game for division and divisiveness. You also run around with your pale-skinned brothers and sisters and you act like it's all right. No, I don't see the magnitude of gratuity. We know that the media lies. We know that the movies and TV shows like the movie Banshee and a bunch of other stuff shows propaganda. There was no Bering Strait crossing. Y'all ain't great seafarers. Not even great swimmers at that. You've forgotten your ways. You've forgotten the face of your fathers. Talking about high cheekbones. You got a wide ass face, and the women aren't even. I've seen over 50 descriptions of them. Our women. Nobody else's women in the world built like ours. Now there's some deviations and changes. Why? Well, our women are fucking very free. Not saying like free truth, but you know what I mean. And they've been taken everywhere. And there was a lot of them. It's very, very freaking sad when people can't even see through the blinds. Very, very, very disturbing. Why is it so hard to understand the truth and see the truth for what it is? Huh? What is the hardest thing about it? We've got indigenous brothers and sisters today walking around like they're white. Are you aware of that? They on that birth certificate it says black. It doesn't say African. Because they know. The ones that I've met. And I mean, they literally look like some pale-skins. A lot of them. Well, they don't accept that. Because they see the delusion and division and the derision and division. Only the coward ones do. I met this one lady, Natalie Cooper. Natalie Cooper. Beautiful woman. Met her at the gym. She came over because she saw me. She came over and says, what kind of, because I was doing the 21s with the curls. up to 60, up to 75, 70 pounds, 70 pounds. So I would start off with 20, go right to the 40 and hit the 70. And I do 21s, like each one of those. And she was like, you're big, but you're not like, I was like, no, I'm not as big as I used to be. But the strength don't go nowhere. It's just, I gotta be careful with the muscles. This is not that long ago. She says, I just want to ask you, what do you think I am? She wasn't being bold or anything because she finds the seriousness in it. And I looked at her. She's got a fat booty. Very large. I says, you look like you got some me in you. She says, I am you. I says, you know what? I know quite a few people like you. I says, you got your birth certificate on you? She says, you know what? As a matter of fact, I do in my purse. I carry it around when people doubted. And there it was, Negro. She says, yeah, my great-great-grandma, I knew her. She was Indian. What kind of Indian? Not like these over here. From Louisiana. I said, what brought you over here? Well, I went to California. I took the acting classes, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't like some of the options. I understood. I took acting, so I know. I've talked with many brothers and sisters who got into acting, who stood in many shows, and it's a freak fest, y'all, Hollywood. Damn, it's nasty. And our people have partook in it. Men who are women who are men, you'd just be amazed. Anyway, she's a good friend of mine now, Natalie Cooper. And I think her original name would have been Lee or Wright. So, but she doesn't have long, straight hair. Her hair is kind of wavy, not curly. I mean, like, it's like long. But when you look at her, she's got full lips. Her nose is kind of like mine, more or less. Not, but it's a little woman. It's more feminine. Her ears are small. And see, people think big ears, and they just know that's bullshit. Big ears ain't got nothing to do with being indigenous. Please, I've seen paintings in Morocco. I ain't talking about Moors. I'm talking about people they considered the people they considered to be back then kindred, distant kindred, not Moors. So, and Española when I was over in Spain. Yes, Palma to be exact. Okay, I went to a citadel over there and got to see some books. So there's many people running around playing white, and they are not, and I mean many. And I don't like to use the word white because we know what it really, alludes to. But and I said her whole name because she doesn't go by that. All right. So anyway, really, really nice person. She told me how there was a couple of people who in her family didn't want to, they figured there'd be more problems. I says, let me tell you something about the enemy. They don't care about nobody. Nobody. And you'll learn that. And she'll learn that. I would say stop, let me see if I can get rid of this goofy shit. It says, for information. You know what? This is just who they are. It doesn't bother me. They put up this thing, we're telling your followers that you started a live video. I don't have no followers. Hang on, we're telling more followers to join your video. You don't need to tell them nothing. They'll see it when they can. It's a work day. This is how goofy they are, y'all. They can't help themselves. It was never there, But to the cowards, a mighty toast. So I got through burning. I want to teach y'all something else. You know how they say fires and the temperatures? See this right here? This is Seven Sisters. When I'm going to cast, I guess they say a word is a spell or abracadabra, speak something to life or curse someone. I don't believe in those words. It's bigger than that. I burn her. And then I burn a few other things. But it's only to speak into the truth. Now, there's a lot of people that get feathers and this, that, and the other and do all this hooky-pooky stuff, right? Nah. No. You don't even need to smudge. I smudge with the purpose of keeping the bad energy that likes to be around all the time at bay. While I talk to the good energy with the purpose of doing what needs to be done. Santa Maria, all that bullshit. No, I'm talking about real magique, if you want to call it magic or whatever you want to call it. I don't like none of those labels. I really don't. But yeah, I had to set something in motion again. Y'all need to learn some things. Stop being so scared to travel, move around, and get out. A lot of y'all are cowards, yo. A lot of y'all are cowards. I'm grateful that I'm in Arizona. I'm grateful for the people I have met on here and everywhere else. But I'm not grateful for cowards. Do you know what it's like when you can't turn away from and you can't turn around? Don't have no fear. What do I know? What do I know? People want to run around still calling themselves black, arguing and fighting about nothingness. Caught up in a little fictional world of enjoyment and enlightenment, which is not a problem when there's real problems that are going on around them. This is the delusion. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to sit down and bite our tongues or grit our teeth, you know what I mean, and bear it. Why be the bearer of lies when you could be the bearer of your truth? Why? Well, may y'all have a grand day. Yeah? Know who you are. Stop professing to claim something you're not. When I meet somebody in Texas over here, and they say they're from Africa, I look at them like, Africa? The 1939 established Africa? Who are you and where you really from? And if they can't say and they still say, I'm African. South, I go, okay, have at it. I don't even recognize them. I don't recognize them because that shows me they don't even know who the fuck they are. They have forgotten the face of their fathers and their mothers. When I asked somebody, I met many people who said they're from Africa. Now in New York and Harlem, I met people who says I'm from Mozambique, but my people originally were from what you call Palermo, Italy. No, this is serious. And that's back in the 80s. Today, when Andrew Gator, what's going on, brother? Today, when I meet an African over here, I says, where you from? I'm from South Africa. South Africa, huh? 1939 established South Africa. Well, a lot of my people were taken. But obviously, you're not originally from there because I know. And it's not South Africa. If you know the truth of the maps, the ones I seen are Ethiopia. I still call it Mesopotamia, the lands. I says, why have you bought into that? And he spoke pretty good English. I said, never mind. I says, you know what? I don't recognize you, brother. And he didn't say nothing. He just stood there with his eyes like this. I said, he's been cultivated by a Dutch-French ideology and British. He has succumbed because of warfare, and I told you as you kill off the ancestors, you kill off the knowledge. But see here, it's indebted in us because it is in the land, it is in the rocks, it's in the soil, it is in the air, it's in the water, it's in the animals around us. I don't even like calling our little brothers and sisters, whether four-legged, two, slithering or flying, animals, because they are an extension of who we are. See, this is what people have a hard time dealing with, just as the trees, the leaves, the grass, the fields, everything is an extension, and we are an extension of it. We're all connected. The luminaries are here, not in some fake outer space. They want you to look always away instead of here, right where everything is. Star Wars, they had metachlorines, right? We say ancestors, energy, right? Why does that people have a hard time dealing with this? The Bering Strait has now been debunked over 52 freaking 100 times on numerous occasions over the last 25 years. Yet people still want to go with that, just like they want to go with DNA when that's been debunked by medicine. Unless it's immediate family and they can trace it back with bone marrow and certain bone particles or hair follicles in grave sites, even up to 400 years old. But that's why they flooded and destroyed many of them. And besides that, 20,000 years ago, Mongolians never existed. Well, I love the Franciscan letters. I love the fact that the Vatican has a tapestry book that shows they used them, the Mongols in the 1300s, sent them as shock troops, like the Blitzkrieg, to come over here, and we defeated their asses and left a handful of hundreds of them or thousands of them, and we gave them the plains, which was full of green shrubs and trees. It wasn't as I see today, Arizona. It wasn't like that. But I've been on the mezzanine. I've seen the petrified trees, as big as the redwoods. I've seen them laying there, broken up like columns. Why does the people have a hard time dealing with this? Because when Theodore Teddy Roosevelt created the education system, it wasn't him that created it. It was the Zionists, because Theodore Teddy Roosevelt was a Jew. But when he went into, he refused not to be with us as a security. How do you think we ended back up in the White House, the fake White House? Why is it that people have a hard time dealing with this truth? I don't have no understanding of why. Like right now, every time I see brothers and sisters talking about black, I'm like, are you? The information's been out there for so long, but where do you live at? Probably in some liberal goddamn state. And they can't let go of it because of the harshness they've had to endure and deal with. Racism is still live, and it's the dumbest people walking the planet Earth, because the enemy who pits us against each other don't care about them. They care about them less than us. But that's how stupid they are. And everything that they're using is amalgamation from our ancient teachings and ways. But our people want to know, why are people running around harming and hurting themselves? Why do they have a hard time dealing with the truth of diet? Why is it we keep consuming stuff that was never meant for us to consume? I have no problem with eating seafood. Seafood, there's a reason for that. But eating animals that aren't indigenous to this land, that are hybrids or creations of a sort, and getting upset when somebody tells them. But when we have all these vegetables and we say so amount is indigenous from this land taken over there, then why are we not eating all of it? No, we've allowed the companies to take over and create our diets with toxins and poisons, just like the waters and everything else. The chemical spill where they're saying that stuff is in the water and it's going to be a forever poison, that was purposely done. If anybody go back and read the story. People have a hard time dealing with this. These people are vile. Darkness. Why does the people have a hard time dealing with that? Not all my pale-skinned brothers are, because like I said, I met that young lady at the gym. She showed me her birth certificate, looking as white as a flake of snow, that curly blonde reddish hair, auburn I guess, and it had Negro in it. Many people are deceived and they don't understand. And she realized a long time ago, because her grandpa was the same way, that hey, this is never going to be good for anybody. And we can't lie or hide who we are. And she said that her great-great-grandpa was an Indian. And I said, well, then that makes you Indian. She says, no, I know. But people have a hard time even dealing with that because of Hollywood and the agenda. And she's very knowledgeable. I was like, well, where you been? She's like, well, I came from Mississippi, but I went to California to get in the movies. But they parties and the things they want me to do. And so I ended up in Las Vegas, and here I danced for a little while. I said, I understood. Oh, yeah. Hollywood, from New York to over here, very wicked. We chased them out of there. Are y'all aware of that? Because of the missing children, the sacrifices, the things known, the delectable Negro. People have a hard time dealing with these things. But they're facts. So, share this. Communicate. Talk about it. Okay? Tell them now. You'll have a good day. A truth, mama family.